Dagan, can we get that audio of Penny Hardaway's press conference? I'm not even going to let you guys respond.
I can't even respond to that. What is RJ Cole playing 42 minutes a game?
Yeah, he's locked in, baby. Let's go. Let's get to that audio of Penny Hardaway's press conference tonight.
I think the one thing I can say to this media, because this media gets kind of up sometimes when it comes to me, we don't have our full roster. Y'all know we don't have our full roster. Stop asking me stupid questions about if I feel like I can do something. If I had my roster like they did, then I feel like I can do whatever I want to do. I'm coaching really hard. My boys are playing really hard. I'm not embarrassed about nothing. We have 4 freshmen starting. Y'all need to act like it. Act like we got 17 to 18 and 19-year-olds out here trying to learn how to play against 22, 23, and 24-year-old guys. Come on, man. Stop disrespecting me, bro. Like, don't do that. I work too hard. I work way too hard for that. Y'all write all these articles about me, and all I do is work. We got young kids on the floor. They got young kids on the floor.
T.O., that man is not happy right now. What do you make right now of the Penny Hardaway era and how things are going in Memphis?
We've talked about it when talking about other teams too. Seton Hall, who we talked about just before this break, and you blasphemously talked about UConn being the best player and the best team in the Big East, but we'll talk about that later. Here's the thing. You come into Memphis and you ask for all the smoke, you're going to get all the smoke. And one thing that the NCAA tournament's not going to take into account this year is circumstance. I think we've established that. And another thing too is like, hey, Penny, you might be playing 4 freshmen. Those are 4 5-star freshmen. Like, these are talented kids. Duke's playing with a lot of freshmen. There's a lot of different teams playing with a lot of freshmen. And you just blamed your older players not too long ago for your freshmen not playing well. So, like, what is it? It's a strange dynamic. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. First and foremost, they did not start 4 freshmen tonight. They started 3 freshmen tonight. 2, he talks about all of these people that they're missing. They're really only missing 2 guys, Landers Nolly and DeAndre Williams, and really only one of them matters because Penny Hardaway, for all that he's talking about this roster that he built, if he had that available, his teams cannot win if DeAndre Williams does not play. His teams cannot win if that 25-year-old that they have is not available to him. So look, I get that he's frustrated. I get that the media there is really hard on him. Like the culture in Memphis is basketball. That city loves their Tigers. But you came out saying you wanted all the smoke. You got 2 5-star freshmen. But by the way, you forgot to add a point guard, Ashton. They don't have a point guard.
Yeah, and that's been their biggest issue, man. And I think that's how he got Amani Bates, was telling him he was going to be the point guard. And then it was just a different story once he stepped on the court. So anytime you have 2 of the top freshmen, 2 of the top high school guys in the country with Jalen Duren, Amani, and the hype they bring, it's going to be some type of pressure. It's going to be media that are connected to you. So much is given, much is tested, right? At the end of the day. So Penny, Memphis, they got to step it up at the end of the day. I think it's just not an excuse at the end of the day. Like once you talking about circumstance, like T.O. said, at the end of the we're still playing basketball and we're expecting a lot from these young guys. And I think they can do it. It's just, Amani, he's had some lapses, and even Jalen, I think their approach to the game, their sense of urgency, I think that's been the biggest change when it comes to high school to college basketball, playing possession by possession. Doesn't really matter, not only on the offensive end, but defensively, consistently. That's been the issue with
here's my biggest thing is he put together a flawed roster. There's no way around it. He put together a flawed roster. They do not have a point guard. Those are pretty important in college basketball. We've seen it over the years. You look at the last 12 national champions, 10 of them played with 2 point guards, not just 1, but 2 point guards. And Penny's only point guard is a 17-year-old chucker. That's what he went in with this season going around. The 17-year-old that all he did at Peach Jam was shoot. T.O., we watched him play. All he did was shoot at Peach Jam.
Not a whole lot of passing.
6'7", weighs 185 pounds. So, like, you built a bad roster. You can sit here and complain about not having players available. You know what? Every team doesn't have players that are has players that are missing. Everybody's going through it. Everybody's young. Everybody's dealing with that stuff too. My biggest takeaway from this is that when you start cussing out the media, when you start saying things like I work to effing hard. Y'all write all these articles about me. All I do is work. Stop asking me stupid effing questions. Like, that's when you know that it's gotten to the point where, like, I don't know if this is going to work. Because once the media in that city turns on you, they ran Tubby Smith up out of there. He had back-to-back 21 seasons to hire Petty. They've been kissing your behind for the last 4 years. And look, at the end of the day, you did not get it done the last 3 seasons. Yes, you won an NIT championship. You probably should have been in the tournament with that team, right? There's no excuse for not making the tournament with this group, with Amani Bates, with Jalen Duren, with Larry Brown on your bench, with Rasheed Wallace on this bet. You're about Penny Hardaway. T.O., you got any closing thoughts on our favorite coach down there in Memphis?
Well, you said he put together a flawed staff. How about, a flawed roster? He put together a flawed staff. Nobody even knows where Sheed's at. Like, there's a lot going on. There's so much to unpack in Memphis. We need to call our guy back down there. Was John? We need to get John, but yeah, we need to get John Martin back on here, and hopefully he can untangle this web of disaster that's happening down there at the Forum. Like, unbelievable.
Ashton, anything else on Penny before we move on?
Oh no, man. It'll get better with time, man. It'll get better.
I don't know if he's going to have much more time. Like, how much luck? If you can't, here's the thing: if you can't win when you have one of the greatest basketball minds in the history of the sport on the bench next to you, if you can't win with a group of guys that came back from last season off of the NIT, adding 2 5-star freshmen to that mix, if you can't win with the talent that he has on that roster right now, if you can't recognize that you don't need, like, that you need a point guard and you can't use a 17-year-old chucker as the guy running the show for you, like, I just don't think it's going to end up working, man. And if he's already combating with the media like this, he ain't Jim Boeheim, he ain't Jim Calhoun. Like, there's guys that can go at him like that. Like, this is just, I don't know, man. I think this is probably one of those situations where you could say it's the beginning of the end.
The only thing that would have been better in the whole rant is after he said he works too effing hard, he just shouted Wu-Tang and just walked out. Like, that would have made it the absolute best walk-off press conference of all time. It would just put a cherry on top. There's just so much to unpack there. I mean, it's frustrating for him, you can tell, because they do have talent, guys. I mean, we're not lying to anybody. It's hard to put together a roster full of young guys and a mixture of old guys who think they've got it figured out. I mean, even those older guys, they were highly recruited guys too. And it makes it's frustrating for them. And everybody has aspirations. He's having a hard time managing not only the players, but his own. And it's made for a difficult situation.
And it just shows you the premium and into having a point guard. That's what college basketball is about, especially as you get deep into the conference play, into NCAA tournament play. It's a guard's game, man. So yeah, I think it's the beginning of the end, like you said, Rob.
Yeah, I laugh every time that he complains, oh man, we have to play all of these freshmen. Like, 2 weeks ago he was complaining about how all of the older guys that won him an NIT championship are upset that he's playing all of these freshmen. Like, those are the guys you wanted to play. That's why you pissed off Landers Nale and DeAndre Williams, because he wanted to play these dudes. So you can't have it both ways, Penny.